Hello and welcome to Shnayim Mikra. We're going to read every verse twice in Hebrew with the Sfard trope, and then translate Rashi and translate a word or two from the Rebbe of Lubavitch. May he be blessed. May his memory be a blessing for all of us. This is Sheni, the second Aliyah in Parshat Shmini. Parshat Shmini, Aliyah Sheni. Vayakrev et hamincha vaymalei kapo mimena vayakter al hamizbeach milvad olat haboker vayakrev et hamincha vaymalei kapo mimena vayakter al hamizbeach milvad olat haboker. Rashi says, and I'll translate the verse too. By the way, last time there was this word that I was unsure of. In the verse 12 before, it says, Vayishchat et olav vayamtziu b'nei Aaron elav. It means they should be present before. One of the translations says, like nimtza. Nimtza is to be found or to be present. Vayamtziu b'nei Aaron is that they were present at the time. They were involved in sprinkling, in the shechting of the burnt offering, and in the sprinkling of the blood on the altar. And in other words, they had to be there when it happened. And talking about we're discussing the inauguration of the temple, the 8 days when the tabernacle, the 8 days when the tabernacle was inaugurated in the desert, and the special ceremony that was done there. So the first verse in the Aliyah Sheni says, "Vayakrev el hamincha et hamincha vaymalei kapo mimena vayakter al hamizbeach milvad olat haboker," and he offered the mincha, the grain offering. And he filled his hands with the grain offering, and he burnt it on the altar, together with the, not separate from the burnt offering of the morning, together with the burnt offering of the morning. Rashi says he filled his hands with it, filled his hand. That's a kamitza. It's like taking a fistful. This amount that fits what kamitza. What's a kamitza? This finger, the pinky finger, is called a kamitza. Why is it called the kamitza? Because it's cheaper than kamsan. It means cheap. It's cheaper than the others because it's shorter, right? No, that's maybe where the word kamsan comes from. But in other words, a kometz is the amount. It's a biblical word for the amount of grain or substances that you can fit in the palm of your hands when you pull your 3 fingers over and then you even off the sides. So it's like a little less than a fistful is a kometz. It's a very small amount of grain. So that's the biblical term is vaymalei kapo, and he filled the palm of his hand. And the later usage in the Talmud and the Rishonim is the kamitza, this much. So, and then he says, milvad olat haboker, together with the burnt offering of the morning. All of these he did after the burnt offering of the tamid, the continual offering. These were all done after the continual offering, in the special ceremony of the inauguration of the tabernacle. Yudchet, Pasuk 18, Vayishchat et ashor ve'et ha'ayil zevach hashlamim asher la'am, Vayamtziu b'nei Aharon et adam elav vayizrakehu al hamizbeach saviv vayishchat et ashor ve'et ha'ayil zevach hashlamim asher la'am Vayamtziu b'nei Aharon et adam elav vayizrakehu al hamizbeach saviv. So again, I'll just translate it again, but I'm having still the trouble with the word vayamtziu, because I thought it would meant mitsui. Mitsui is like when you take a bird offering and you squeeze it, squeezing the blood out of the bird offering. This is a lovely description for vegetarians and people who really, animal sacrifice. Human sacrifice is bad enough, but animal sacrifice is something that's difficult for a lot of people to relate to. Even very religious Jews, some of them could care less about this animal sacrifice thing, but it was a very important thing in the Torah. So the blood would be squeezed out of the bird offering. That's called mitsui. But with an aleph here, that's why to be found, to be present. So I'm going to translate it this way. And he slaughtered the bull and the ram as a peace offering for the people. And instead of saying being present, I'm going to say, notwithstanding the aleph in the word vayamtziu, I'm going to say that the sons of Aaron squeezed out the blood and sprinkled it on the altar surrounding it. ואת החלבים מן השור ומן העיל העלייה והמחסה והכליות ויותרת הכבד ואת החלבים מן השור ומן העיל העלייה והמחסה והכליות ויותרת הכבד. So, and the fats of the bullock offering, of the fats of the bull, from the bull and from the ram, and the fat tail of the ram, they have a big fatty tail, and the machaseh is a part of the animal, I don't know, something covering, but klayot, and is the kidneys, yoteret hakaved, and it was a gallbladder, I don't know, it's a part of the liver, it's the excess of the liver. Rashi says machaseh, so Rashi also didn't know what machaseh was. I feel so much relieved. It wasn't just if I didn't understand the word, then I see Rashi explains it. I feel much relieved because if I understand, obviously I wouldn't understand the word, but that Rashi didn't understand it too makes me feel a lot better. So a machaseh is chelev v'machaseh kerev. The machaseh is the fat surrounding the stomach. וישימו את החלבים על החזות, ויקטר החלבים המזבחה, וישימו את החלבים על החזות, ויקטר החלבים המזבחה. And he placed the fats on the breasts of the animals, and he burnt the fats on the altar. Rashi says he placed the fats on the breasts. After the wave offering, after the animal was sacrificed and then it was waved around. Maybe it was waved around before it was sacrificed. I don't remember, but at one point they wave around the sacrifice. Then it was given, these special parts of the animal were given as a gift to the Kohen who did the wave offering. After they were burnt, after they were cooked, basically, on the altar. Barbecue. And we find that the upper part of the animal was below. ואת החזות ואת שוק הימין הניף אהרון תנופה לפני אדוני כאשר ציווה משה. ואת החזות ואת שוק הימין והניף אהרון תנופה לפני אדוני כאשר ציווה משה. And the breasts and the thigh, the right thigh of the animal were taken by Aaron, and he waved them before God as Moses had commanded him to do. וישא אהרון את ידיו אל העם ויברכם וירד מעשות החטאת והעולה והשלמים. וישא אהרון את ידיו אל העם ויברכם וירד מעשות החטאת והעולה והשלמים. And Aaron raised his hands to the people, and he blessed them, and he went down from doing the sin from offering the sin offering, and then he offered the peace offerings. Rashi says he blessed them with the blessing of the priests. Yivarechecha Yair Yisa. He says, Yivarechecha Hashem v'yishmerecha. Yair Hashem panav elecha v'chuneka. Yisa Hashem panav elecha V'yasem lecha shalom. That's just how Aaron did it. Said, may the Lord bless you and keep you. May God shine his countenance upon you. And may be gracious with you. May God raise his face to you. May he grant you peace. That's what Aaron would say when he blessed. So the Lubavither Rebbe says the following. Lubavitcher Rebbe says, and he blessed them with the blessing of the priests. May he bless you, may he enlighten you, may he raise his face to you. That's Lubavitcher Rebbe quotes Rashi, and then he says that the commentators had a difficult time with Rashi because the mitzvah of the priestly blessing was commanded already, which is commanded later on in the next book of the Bible, in Numbers, in Parshat Nusach. So why does Rashi say here that it's the priestly blessing? So, in other words, this is something that you might think would be saved for later when he talks about the priestly blessing. So why does Rashi need to mention it here? Just say, look in Bamidbar. Why does he enumerate? And why does Rashi go out of his way to say what the priestly blessing is? He can say it's the priestly blessing, and then later on in Bamidbar he can say exactly what that is. Okay, it's not the most exciting question in the world, but who am I and what am I to judge the Rebbe? So the second question the Rebbe asks is, why does he enumerate these three? These three parts of the blessing. May he bless you, may he illuminate you, and may he raise to you. We know that the priestly blessing has three verses to it and three elements to it. And so there are a few different answers that we can give. One answer the Rebbe gives is there are two questions, and one question answers the other question. It's not that Aaron fulfilled the mitzvah of the priestly blessing, but rather that Aaron chose willingly. He wasn't commanded to do it. Aaron did it of his own will. That's one answer. Aaron freely, of his own volition, went and blessed the people. He wasn't commanded to do it, according to the Rebbe. It's a possibility. And to be noted that Rashi only explains the simple meaning of the verse, which is not so with halacha, which explains more about the verse. We find an example of this in several places in Shas. So there's Rashi's commentary is just the simple meaning of the verse, not getting into the depths of the law. And the Vayvarchem, where it says, and he blessed them, in this verse, in the Talmud comments on this and says when it says and he blessed them, it's talking about the mitzvah of Birchat of the priestly blessing, because we find that the resting of the divine presence on the tabernacle was evinced evinced by the atonement achieved from the golden calf. In other words, when the blessing rested upon the tabernacle, it became clear to everybody that we'd been forgiven for the golden calf. That's as Rashi writes on the verse about talking about the tent of appointed meeting, which is another word for the tabernacle, tent of meeting at appointed times, or the tent of the testimony. The tabernacle of testimony is Mishkan Edut, another word for tabernacle. So it's a testimony for Israel that God had forgone their sin, had forgiven them for their sin of the golden calf, and he his presence went back. Everybody saw the divine presence. clearly we're forgiven. Because when we, all the time we weren't forgiven, we didn't see the divine presence there. So this is the content of the blessing that Aaron blessed all of the children of Israel. May God bless you. The blessing will come from God himself, from the Kadosh Baruch Hu himself, because God is now himself resting upon the tabernacle. So he says, he shall bless you, he who is here and felt and seen before you now. Because the atonement for the sin of the golden calf has been effected. We're forgiven. And so then God let us know that Panai Yelechu, that my face will go before you, that I'll be revealed to you. Ani ba'atzmi, like it says in Parshat Kitisa, I myself went with you, not an angel, not a seraph, not an angel, but me, myself, and none other. Ya'er, when it says he'll illuminate, the Rebbe says, the Rebbe quotes Rashi and says that he's going to show his smiling, laughing face. That's illumination. Smiling, laughing face is illuminated. In other words, that God doesn't have a face, he doesn't know form. So what does that really mean? It means that my presence will dwell among the people of Israel in a way that is everybody's going to experience the joy and the light of it for all of the children of Israel. And then by means of there's three parts of the priestly blessings. So the third one is, and he will raise his face to you. That's an expression for God conquering his anger, meaning that he conquered his anger and he atoned for God, the Holy One, blessed be, forgave us for the sin of the calf. So that's how the first question about why why did Rashi go out of his way here to mention something that would be discussed, is more properly discussed in the next book of the Bible, in the Parshat Nusach. And that's because here it's showing how he effected atonement for the golden calf. And the second question is answered by the first question. Second question is, why does Rashi have to say the three parts of the priestly blessing here and enumerate them? He could have just said the priestly blessings. He didn't have to, if he mentions it, he didn't have to go into detail here. He doesn't have to mention it at all, and now that he mentioned it, he didn't have to say the detail. Those are the two questions. So he said the detail because each detail of the priestly blessings is a sign of forgiveness for what just happened with the golden calf right here during the inauguration of the temple, which is germane to our parsha. Pasuk 23. Vayavo Moshe v'Aaron el Ohel Moed vayetzuhu vayvarchehu et ha'am vayira kavod Adonai El kol ha'am vayavo Moshe v'Aaron el Ohel Moed vayetzu vayvarchu et ha'am vayira kavod Adonai El kol ha'am. Rashi says, why did he go in? I'll translate the verse. And Moses and Aaron came to the tent of appointed meeting, and they went out and they blessed the people, and they saw the glory of God, and all of the people saw the glory of God. The glory of God was seen by all of the people. The glory of God was shown to all of the people. Rashi says, why? It says that Moses and Aaron went to the tabernacle. Why did they go in? Why did they go in? We find in the passages about the inauguration of the tabernacle, and there's a special teaching from the Talmud about in the Torah Kohanim. It's the halachic midrash on the book of Leviticus called Torah Kohanim, where it says why did Moses go in with Aaron? So the Torah Kohanim asks why Moses went in with Aaron, and the answer it gives is to teach us about in order to teach, Moses went in to teach Aaron how to do the incense offering, how to burn the incense. Or maybe he went on for another reason. So the Torah Kohanim says maybe it wasn't just for the incense, maybe it was for something else. It teaches to teach us that descent and ascent, going in and going out, they both need a blessing. The same way that the going down was for the avoda. What's the going down in this case? I guess that would be leaving up to go outside of the temple for a certain offering. That going out and coming in both need a blessing. The same way going out, if you read a descent, I'm translating as going out as opposed to going down. So the same way going out is a kind of a service. Even going in is a kind of service. So here we have been taught. We learned already. Why did Moses go in with Aaron? To teach him about the incense offering, which was done inside the tent. Outside is the sacrifices. The animal is slaughtered on the outside, and going in is the incense and the sprinkling of the blood. So going out to sacrifice, to slaughter, and going in to burn the incense, to burn the menorah, to sprinkle the blood, and so forth. So they both need a blessing. Another thing, a different interpretation. Since Aaron saw that all of the offerings were offered, and all of the actions were being done, and the Shekhinah did not come and dwell upon them, they did all of these sacrifices in the inauguration. They didn't see the Shekhinah they did eventually, but they didn't see it at that time. So Aaron, because it was before the Shekhinah was revealed, so Aaron thought we've been sacrificing and Moses is doing these offerings and nothing happens. So Aaron got upset. He says, why don't I? It's known that I angered God. Aaron said, I angered God because because I didn't stop them from doing the golden calf. And it's because of me that the divine presence is not resting upon the Mishkan. The Mishkan is the tabernacle. So he says to Moses, my brother, I did this to you. I should go in and I should be ashamed. I didn't prevent the people from sinning with the golden calf. I even maybe took part in it a little bit because I thought they were going to kill me. I should have died rather than done this. And now I'm going to go in and be shamed before God and go into the temple. So immediately Moses went in together with him. He says, no, we're going to go together. And I'm going to defend you. Moses was a good brother. He defended his brother. And Moses went in with Aaron. Aaron was ashamed. And he pleaded for mercy before God to forgive Aaron. And then immediately the Shekhinah came and he rested upon the tabernacle. And they went out and they blessed the people. Rashi says, may the pleasantness of God be upon us. It's like it says in Psalm 90. May it be your will that the Shekhinah should rest on the work of our hands. Because all the 7 days of the inauguration of the temple, when Moses stood in the tabernacle and he served and he did the offerings and he built the tabernacle and he built it up and he took it down every day. And the Shekhinah didn't rest upon all those times. And Israel was ashamed. And they were saying to Moses, our teacher, all of this you're going through to build and to take down and to slaughter and to sacrifice. And the Shekhinah is not resting on it because we're not forgiven yet because of what we did. You're working so hard and we're preventing you from receiving the presence of God. So therefore Moses said to them, this is the thing that God commands you to do. Zeh davar, this is the very matter that God is commanding. That you shall do this and you shall see the glory of God. You shall do this and you shall see the glory of God. So that Medrash explains why it says Zeh davar a few verses earlier. It says this. It's a new special expression when it says Zeh davar, that this is the matter, like pointing with a finger and saying this. What is this? That you are going to be forgiven. And also in our verse, and the glory of God is seen by the people. And you do this, you're forgiven. You're going to see. I'm going to pray, and I'm going to get God to forgive you for this, and then you're going to see the glory of God. Don't worry, I'll take care of it. Moses said, I'll take care of you. So, and it says, Aaron, my brother, he's more important than me. Moses said to God, Aaron is more important to me. Because by means of Aaron, we do all the sacrifices. Because he's the one commanded to do all the sacrifice after the inauguration of the temple. It's in Aaron's hands, in his son's hands, not Moses. Moses only offered the sacrifices in the first 8 days. After that, it's Aaron's job. So without Aaron, we can't have the temple. We can't have the sacrifices. So he's more important than me. And by means of him, the Shekhinah is going to rest upon all of Israel. And you'll know. And then that way we'll know that Moses, that God, the Omnipresent, has chosen Aaron and achieved forgiveness for Aaron and all of the people. ותצא אש מלפני אדוני ותאכל על המזבח את העולה ואת החלבים וירא כל העם וירונו ויפלו על פניהם.